Hi there. What beauty service would you like today?
This is my first time ever at a spa. In my whole 16 years of life. Looking like a total mess. I want to get waxed, but just got bullied and called a half-evolved monkey. Like this. Can it all be waxed off?
Of course. I'll help you get smooth, silky skin.
I lay on the bed, wrapped in nothing but a thin towel. All my imperfections were exposed in front of a stranger, making me more nervous than ever.
Is this your first time getting waxed?
Yes it is.
Don't be nervous, it doesn't hurt at all.
While waiting for the wax to melt, the staff applied baby powder to my arms and legs. She then started spreading the first layer of wax on my arm. It was just warm, not as hot as I had imagined. Within minutes, both my arms were covered in wax. I suddenly noticed something floating in the wax. It looked lumpy, and there was even a hair in it.
Oh, it's probably just one of my hairs. Sorry about that.
I clenched my teeth, anxiously watching as she peeled at the edge of the wax strip, and then yanked it off in one swift motion. I looked down at my arm. A large patch of hair was gone, leaving my skin red, but there was still a thin layer of fine hair.
Don't worry, since it's your first time waxing, your pores haven't fully opened yet. I'll do one more round to get rid of all the fine hairs. It won't hurt this time.
Another layer of wax was spread over my already swollen arm. I could only trust her and stay still on the massage bed. For the next hour, I just gritted my teeth, held back my tears, and listened to the sharp rip-rip sounds as she pulled off each wax strip. Finally, after all the pain, I had the smooth, silky skin I had wished for. I paid for the service and headed home. The sweet spa staff even gifted me a bag of wax so I could do it myself at home. Once I got home, I followed her advice. I avoided water, applied a layer of snake fat balm to soothe my skin, and went to bed. The next morning, a new school week began. I finally had the confidence to wear the strappy top I had bought long ago, but had left forgotten in the corner of my closet. I walked into school with a completely new look. Everyone looked at me differently, and the bullies must have been shocked. I reassured myself that my skin was just irritated, because I hadn't used sunscreen. I applied another layer of snake fat balm and went back to sleep. That night, I couldn't sleep peacefully. My whole body felt unbearably hot, and a tingling itch crawled over my arms and legs, forcing me awake. Those disgusting hairs. They were trying to grow back. I had to get rid of them. I grabbed a pair of tweezers and started plucking them out one by one. The hair was unnaturally long, curling into a tangled clump as I pulled it out, leaving my pores oozing with blood. I gasped in horror. Then suddenly, I remembered the bag of wax strips the spa employee had given me. I melted the wax, and what I saw inside the pot made my stomach churn. Floating in the wax were chunks of dead skin and strands of hair in all sorts of colors, clearly from different people. A chill ran down my spine, and goosebumps covered my arms. The spa. They actually reused old wax for customers. Did that mean the wax I used yesterday was this disgusting recycled mess? Could it carry diseases? And then, as if responding to my horror, the hairs on my body started to wriggle. One by one, they pushed themselves out of my pores. No, I couldn't go back to being a hairy, disgusting monkey. I scratched at my arms and legs frantically, but strangely, I felt no pain. It was as if my skin had lost all sensation. My body burned with fever, and exhaustion took over. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed, my arms and legs wrapped in bandages. I looked like a mummy.
No way. How could she have leprosy?
I turned my head and saw the doctor holding something. It looked like a dried wax strip.
This old wax contained bacteria from a leprosy patient. She's been infected.
No, that's impossible. That spa is big, it's reputable. My limbs feel numb because you gave me anesthesia, right?
Kate, don't be scared. Leprosy is treatable now. You just need to be patient.
Restrain her. We will come up with the best treatment plan for you. Please cooperate.
No, I'm not sick. Get the hell away from me.
I didn't know it would seep into me like poison. None of us did. Back then, the excitement of the role, the promise of fame, was a song I couldn't resist.
You're perfect for the Tin Man.
The director had said, eyeing me with that hungry, hollow smile.
We want real, authentic, pure art.
Real. It always starts with that word. And so, I agreed when they told me the makeup would be special. An aluminum paint, a metallic sheen that would make my face gleam like I'd stepped straight out of a fairy tale. I sat in the chair for hours. The makeup artist was meticulous, layering on the aluminum liquid with a brush that felt stiff, almost sharp against my skin. The paint was cold, seeping into my pores, stiffening as it dried. I barely recognized myself when I glanced in the mirror, a grinning, gleaming statue of a man.
Don't smile too much.
The makeup artist warned.
It might crack.
Crack. I should have paid attention to that word too. The first sign was the itch. It started as a tickle under my chin, just beneath the aluminized jawline.
Cut!
I scratched absently, my fingernails scraping against the hardened paint. Nothing. My skin wasn't mine anymore. It was smooth and unyielding, a surface more metal than flesh. By day 3 of shooting, the itch had grown into a wildfire. My face burned underneath the layers of makeup, and the feelings spread like ants crawling up my throat into my ears. My skin no longer itched, it screamed.
It's fine.
The director barked when I complained.
Art is sacrifice, remember? Look at you! You're beautiful! The Tin Man lives because of you.
Beautiful. I stopped arguing. I stopped sleeping too, because every night I would wake with my body cramped in agony. Fingers curled into claws, toes bent until I thought the bones might snap. My skin felt hot, but my reflection was still ice cold. Then the coughing started. I was in my trailer rubbing my forearm absently. Aluminum dust shimmered off my fingertips like falling ash. I coughed once, then again, harder this time, and felt something catch in my throat. When I spit into the sink, the sputum was grey. Dark veins of aluminum streaked through it. It's fine, I muttered to myself, but my voice sounded wrong, hoarse, metallic, as if something hollow were vibrating inside me. I leaned in close to the mirror and gasped. The skin around my mouth had cracked. Tiny fissures ran from the corners of my lips, flaking open to reveal raw, oozing red. I touched it, and a piece of silvered skin peeled away like dried paint. I bit back a scream. I had become what they wanted, but... I went back on set the next morning, but no one would look me in the eye.
Don't touch him.
I heard one of the extras whisper.
The stuff gets on you. It doesn't come off.
My co-star recoiled when I brushed her arm. I looked down to see aluminum dust smeared across her pristine costume. I tried to wipe it away, but my fingertips left behind streaks, and when I pulled my hand back, my nails had turned silver. The burning worsened. My skin, no, my surface, tightened until I could barely move. I felt like a statue that might shatter if I moved too quickly. Still, they made me perform. Still, they called it art. The final scene was meant to be triumphant, the Tin Man walking into the sun. I staggered onto the set, blinking against the blinding light. Each step felt heavier than the last, my joints grinding like gears.
Keep going!
The director yelled. My feet stuck to the ground. I looked down and saw aluminum pooling around my boots, spreading like mercury, as if I were melting into the earth. I tried to lift my foot, but it was no longer mine. My toes had fused together, the aluminum consuming the spaces between them. "Help!" I croaked, my voice ringing like a cracked bell. No one came. The sun grew hotter. I raised a trembling hand to shield my face and saw the skin slough off, ribbons of aluminum paint fluttering away to reveal smooth, gleaming metal. My hand caught the light and reflected it back at me, a twisted, blinding mockery of myself.
Almost there.
The director whispered, his voice filled with awe. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came. My lips had fused together, my vision blurred, darkening at the edges, and in those final moments I realized what I had become, a statue, a monument to sacrifice. I woke up in a hospital bed, the ceiling a sterile white, my lungs burned with every breath, and a mask hissed softly over my face, pumping oxygen into me.
"You inhaled too much aluminum dust,"
the doctor said when I opened my eyes.
"You're lucky we caught it in time."
Lucky. I spent 2 weeks trapped in that bed, ribs aching with every inhale, my body slowly purging itself of the aluminum poison. They told me my skin had turned blue during the reaction. I tried to laugh at the irony, but the sound came out broken. The studio sent flowers, but no apology.
"They're replacing you.
My agent told me.
It's not personal, okay? They're changing the makeup. It's safer now."
Safer. I lay back in bed staring at the ceiling, imagining the next poor fool sitting in that makeup chair, letting the aluminum seep into his skin. I wondered if he'd see me in the mirror, a shadow of the Tin Man, trapped forever in the cracks. It started with one can, just one. The first sip sent a surge of vitality through me, a spark that burned brighter than anything I'd felt in months. That was when the obsession began. I convinced myself it was harmless, just fuel for late-night gaming. But soon, one can became 2, then 3. By the time I saw the poster for the Prime Energy Challenge, I was already averaging 6 a day. "Whoever drinks the most cans in an hour wins," the poster declared. A year's supply of Prime Energy and $10,000 cash. It felt like destiny. I started training immediately. Every day I pushed my body further, guzzling can after can until my stomach felt like it would burst. My body adapted. At least that's what I thought. The sleepless nights, the jittery hands, small prices to pay for greatness. The day of the competition, the stage was electric. The air buzzed with caffeine-fueled excitement as the crowd roared, their energy feeding into my already over-amped nerves. My chest puffed out with confidence, opponents lined up beside me, but I barely acknowledged them. The announcer's voice boomed.
"Are you ready?"
The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. I cracked open the first can, chugging it like it was water. The carbonation burned my throat, but I welcomed the sensation. The crowd cheered as I slammed it onto the table and reached for the next. One by one, the cans disappeared. My training had paid off. My hands moved on autopilot, my throat a tunnel for the sugary liquid. 10 cans in, and I felt invincible. But by the 15th can, something shifted. My stomach, bloated and taut, churned ominously. Each gulp sent a wave of pressure surging through my body, the carbonation fighting for space in my overloaded gut. Still, I pressed on. The crowd's chants grew louder, their enthusiasm drowning out the alarm bells ringing in my head. I could taste the finish line. Victory was within reach. Then came the 16th can. As the liquid hit my throat, my body rebelled. I gagged, the carbonation bubbling up faster than I could swallow. Panic set in as I tried to force it down, But my body had had enough. With a violent heave, I spewed a torrent of fluorescent liquid across the stage. Gasps erupted from the audience. I collapsed to my knees, clutching my swollen stomach as the announcer declared the winner. Third place. After everything, I was only good enough for third. That night, back in my apartment, the humiliation burned almost as much as my stomach. I hadn't eaten all day, yet I felt fuller than ever. My gut was a rock, stretched tight and unyielding. Sleep eluded me. Each time I closed my eyes, I could feel the energy coursing through me, keeping my heart racing and my mind spinning. By the third night, the effects began to show. Sweat poured from my skin in an unrelenting stream, soaking through my clothes and sheets. My pores seemed larger. When I ran my hand over my arm, it came away slick and glistening, as if my body was leaking. Then came the blisters. Tiny water-filled bubbles erupted across my arms, chest, and neck, itching and burning with every touch. I tried popping one, but instead of relief, more fluid oozed out, drenching my already saturated skin. I told myself it was temporary, a side effect. It would pass. On the fifth night, exhaustion finally won. I sank into a deep sleep, my body limp for the first time in days. When I woke, the sound of rushing water filled my ears. Groggy, I sat up and froze. My room was flooded. Water covered the floor, lapping against the legs of my bed. The air was humid, suffocatingly warm. I looked down at my body and screamed. Every pore on my skin had stretched into gaping holes, each one a tiny faucet spilling water. My arms, my chest, my legs. Every inch of me was leaking. I tried to stand, but my legs buckled. My muscles, once firm, had turned soft and pliable, like overcooked noodles. The water kept coming, pouring from me in an unending stream. It wasn't just water, it was prime. I could smell it, the sickly, sweet scent that had once been so intoxicating, now making me gag. The room filled quickly. Water rose past my knees, then my waist. I clawed at the walls, desperate for escape, but my strength was gone. My body, my sanctuary, was betraying me. As the water reached my chest, I looked down at my reflection. What stared back was no longer human. My skin was translucent, my features distorted by the ripples. I was melting, dissolving into the flood I had created. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. This was the price of my obsession.